Imagine my surprise when Chief Bishop called me out of nowhere and told me that you were alive.
Must have been a big one.
Yes, Dexter, it was in fact a big surprise because you should be dead! Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about Dexter, which is, in my opinion, one of the better shows that are on the streaming service market. And if you haven't already, you should give Dexter a watch. But, that being said, this serial killer of killers has had many adventures and is almost always 2 steps ahead of everyone he meets. Even with the son who he left is easily manipulated and read by Dexter, until Dexter reached a little too high for Harrison by killing this guy and got, well, shot. This left me, and presumably the rest of the audience, shocked at the time. No way they killed the main character, but to our shock, that's how the series ended. Until Paramount wanted more money and made 2 more seasons, showing that Dexter survived. This caught me off guard because this surely looks fatal, right? We are given an explanation, however, in the form of this scene.
To watch over you.
How the fuck are you alive?
Good question. The ice-cold weather slowed my heart rate and I didn't bleed out.
And this scene.
Talk to me.
We have penetrating thoracic trauma by gunshot, catastrophic blood loss.
But this left me thinking, is this really a realistic explanation? Well, to find this out, we need to first take a look at where Dexter was shot, which is right here, on the left side of Dexter's chest. I'm sure I don't need to explain what organs are located in the upper torso and what the bullet is threatening to injure. But, just in case, the bullet looks to possibly be in contact with Dexter's lung and heart. This is obviously a big no-no, because if the bullet were to hit Dexter's heart, he is not brushing it off, to say the least, and would have to say goodbye completely to deer chasing. According to the National Library of Medicine, 90% of cardiac-related gunshots result in a fatality. 90%, people! You would have a higher chance of not getting diarrhea after eating last night's hot chili soup. But I hear what you're saying. Unruh, yes, it is a low chance of survival, but 10% isn't impossible. And while yes, that's true, it means that for every 10 universes, at least 1 Dexter survives. But these chances are only when the patient is able to immediately get to hospital care, which, you could imagine, that every second counts when you're dealing with such an extreme injury. And look at where Dexter's shot, in the middle of nowhere, which very clearly further diminishes his chances of survival, which leads me to conclude that in this scenario, Dexter dies. Or has a very minimal chance of surviving. But okay, let's assume that it didn't hit Dexter's heart, and narrowly missed it. Well, to look into this possibility, we can look towards a scene where we can hear a doctor say this about Dexter's condition.
We have penetrating thoracic trauma by gunshot, catastrophic blood loss.
So you may be wondering what this means, which is fair enough, because I also didn't know what this meant before this episode. But basically, they're saying that Dexter has trauma from a gunshot in his chest. Wow, revolutionary, I know. But what we are focusing on is the catastrophic blood loss part of the sentence. This is because Dexter, according to the doctors, has lost a considerable amount of blood. This, at first, doesn't tell us much, until we look at the possible blood losses that Dexter could be experiencing. According to Life in the Fast Lane, there are 4 different classes, with Class 1 having lost 750 milliliters of an adult's total blood, all the way up to Class 4, which has lost more than 2 liters of blood. Here's a time where you should be subscribing instead of asking how we can tell which class Dexter's in. But I guess I'll answer your question. At first, nothing comes to mind. I mean, yes, catastrophic sounds like a lot, but my version of catastrophic compared to your version of catastrophic might be completely different, which stopped me at first, until you rewatch this scene.
Thoracic trauma by gunshot, catastrophic blood loss.
We're losing.
Did you catch that? That's right, Dexter's heart rate is well above 200 beats per minute. Now, dearest viewer, you may be asking why his heart rate is important. And to answer that, it would be best to think about the possible symptoms blood loss and trauma can cause. That's right, an elevated heart rate. By looking at the heart rate amounts, we can see that Class 1 is less than 100 beats per minute, too low. Class 2, 100 to 120 beats per minute, still too low. Class 3, 120 to 140 beats per minute, which is still way too low. This leaves us with Class 4, which fits with Dexter's condition, as this class is any heart rate over 140 beats per minute, which Dexter is well above 140 beats per minute. Okay, so now that we know this, we can deduce that Dexter has lost more than 2 whole entire liters of blood. To put that into perspective, Dexter has lost more than 40% of his total blood. This is obviously terrible for Dexter and would likely lead to too much blood loss and probably him dying. Wait. I didn't forget about Dexter's explanation with the whole cold shtick, causing his heart rate to slow down enough so he doesn't bleed out. But this couldn't be further from the truth, as although Dexter's heart rate would slow down in a cold environment, this said cold environment would have to give Dexter hypothermia before it actually slows his heart rate down. And considering Dexter is indeed not suffering from hypothermia, Dexter's heart rate would have actually increased from all this cold according to the British Heart Foundation, because our bodies are constantly adapting to our environment in a bid not to lose any body heat. Your blood vessels restrict, causing higher blood pressure and forcing your heart to work harder, thus causing your heart to beat faster, resulting in more bleeding. Oh wow, this isn't looking good for you, buddy. Oh! This is before we even mention the fact that assuming the bullet missed Dexter's heart, it would have hit his lung, resulting in a collapsed lung, which on its own is already very lethal when not treated immediately, which would almost certainly lead to a very quick death with his other injuries he has also sustained. All this to say, Dexter should be dead. But a certain company had bills to pay, so they revived him for that sweet cash. Hey, if you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and if you're new, please consider subscribing as it motivates me to bring you more content, and I mean, hey, why not? It's free after all. Anyways, see you